This is my wife, Hope Carter, and I'm Josh Carter. We were happily married in 2010.
We discussed and we decided we wanted to wait about 5 years before starting our family, and as that 5 years drew to a close, we were ready. We both left jobs we love and excelled at and moved closer to our family here to start our family. Unfortunately, those children for us never came. After trying about 2 years on our own, we were referred to a specialty fertility clinic where we discovered in vitro fertilization, IVF, would be our only option. They were able to retrieve 13 eggs, 7 fertilized, but after a week's time, all of the embryos were gone. They told us it would be medically impossible for us to have children of our own. It was devastating. Our worlds were rocked, but we knew we wanted to be parents.
Hope and I chose to go the path of adoption. We were unaware about adoption. This was never our plan, but we felt like this was where the Lord was leading, so we followed. We were not sure about finances. Our community wrapped its arms around us and really paved the way for us, raising a large amount of money. Once we started the adoption process, we soon learned that the adoption process was very difficult. But we got through the process with a lot of prayer and a lot of guidance from friends and family. And we were put into the active pool for adoption in September of 2018. And in the adoption world, you expect to wait a good while, but within less than a month, we were chosen by a mother to be Hatcher's parents. And we were so very, very touched by that, and just knew the Lord was in it completely. And Hatcher was actually born on Thanksgiving Day. So he was born November 22nd, 2018, and it still is a huge joy in our life.
So we were so excited to have our son Hatcher, but after a few years, we really felt like we had more love to give and wanted to grow our family again. So we started the adoption process in 2022. Again, we had to give up all control. The financial burden was even greater than it was the first time, but our community stepped in big and huge ways through praying over us and fundraising for us to be prepared to adopt again. Things were moving super slow this time. There's so many setbacks that we had to endure through this adoption process. So in 2024, we came to church on Mother's Day, and honestly, we were both a wreck. We had been in the adoption process almost 2 years, and we're really just growing weary and wondered if the Lord would bless us again. And Nate preached on Hannah and her prayer of desperation and how she cried out to the Lord for her son. And so we very begrudgingly, at the end of the sermon, decided to answer the altar call. We had been to the altar many times, we had been prayed over many times, but what was going to hurt to go again? And so he prayed a specific prayer that we would have a child, and that specifically the Lord would open my womb and allow me to conceive a child within a short time frame after that prayer. And to be honest, I didn't really believe it. I knew that adoption was in our future because the doctors had said that was the only way. And so while he was praying for me to conceive, I was really praying that we would get to adopt again. And less than a month later, we get a phone call about a baby girl who has been born. She's been alive for 5 days, and she needs a family. And so her circumstances in her case were really difficult. They were really challenging, but we decided to say yes and dropped everything in a moment's notice to go pick up this baby girl, and she became our Emmeline Faith Carter.
After getting Emmeline home from the hospital, we began to enjoy our family of 4, with Hatcher being 5 and Emmeline being a newborn, and our family was truly complete. So we thought. I noticed some things, some circumstances with Hope and me that just weren't quite right. So I stopped by one day after practice, Dollar General, to buy 2 pregnancy tests, just to show Hope that God does have a sense of humor, and He is very ironic from time to time. And unbeknownst to me, she had 2 pregnancy tests shipped from Walmart to our house. And I come in the door after a day of practice, and she's got a pregnancy test on the kitchen counter. that shows that we're pregnant. And I laughed and she cried because this was 10 years in the making.
So a medical impossibility turned into a reality through the power of God. So as the pregnancy continued, we were still full of fear, but we put our trust in the Lord and tried to find hope and just truly weigh out the miracle that He had planned for us. And on March 25th, 2025, we got to meet our baby girl, Evie Joy Carter. A verse that we have continued to pray over and believe in for our family is Ephesians 3:20. Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, to Him be the glory. And He has done far more than we could ever hope for or conceive or believe in through 2 adoptions and through 1 improbable yet impossible yet totally real pregnancy. And that was all made possible through our community and our church, through them rallying around us to pray for us, to love on us, and to support us financially. And we will forever be grateful to them for all of the hope and the support that they have provided for us as we became Carter family of 5.